So welcome, everyone. My name is Leslie Rome, and I am the director of the University of Washington Youth and Teen Program. And joining me today is Chad Hammond, who is a program administrator with the program. Chad and I represent the small but mighty team of folks who oversee the administration of the youth program throughout the year. Of course, we're joined in the summer by many, many wonderful instructors and teaching assistants. But likely if you reach out to the team right now, you're going to reach out to Chad or myself. In today's presentation, we're going to be sharing a little bit of information about the youth classes that are planned specifically for this coming summer. And a couple of housekeeping things before we get underway. This is a webinar, as you know, so participants are muted and video is off, but you are very much encouraged to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to post any questions that you may have, and we'll do our best to answer them as we go along or answer them at the end. And if there are questions that we don't get to, we'll answer them in a follow-up after the event concludes. We have blocked out 45 minutes for this, but I'm quite certain that we're going to finish much more quickly than that, perhaps 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll do our best to wrap things up so that you get back to your day. And but of course, we want to answer your questions if there are questions at the end. All right, Chad, do you want to go on to the next slide? Great. So before we get too much into the program, I think we just have to call out that we have made the decision to run all of our programming this summer online. It was a difficult decision, but we're following the guidance of university leadership and public health, and it's the best decision that we can make right now. Last summer, I will mention that we had to very, very quickly pivot courses to remote. We had approximately 16 classes last summer that we took online, and they did very well. And the experience for students was still quite excellent. This summer, we actually have doubled the number of courses that will go online and are feeling quite confident that the students that enroll in our virtual classes will have a really great experience. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Just quick overview of the format of our classes. So the University of Washington Youth and Teen Program is a non-credit enrichment experience. So it's an opportunity for students to explore topics that they might be interested in, or to dive deeper into something that they're already super passionate about. The majority of our classes do not have prerequisites. They're open to any students. There are just a few classes that have prerequisites, and if classes do have prerequisites, you'll see that on the course detail page on our website. Our classes are typically fast-paced because it's a camp format. So, we offer classes over 2-week kind of compressed experiences. So students should enroll and plan to attend every day. The classes are really designed for students who are not looking for something that's remedial. They're pretty rigorous. And of course, students in our classes, to have a really good experience, should have a high level of English language proficiency. Again, our classes run 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, either 9 a.m. to noon or 1 to 4. Our classes are delivered using Zoom video conferencing. The high school classes use Zoom, but also have resources available to them through the Canvas learning management system. All of our classes are in Pacific Standard Time, and we do not record our classes. Activities are held both synchronously and asynchronously, which means that students should be prepared to be together in their virtual classroom with their teacher and their classmates, but also spend some time working independently on classwork. Next slide. Quick, I think you already the reason you're here is because you believe that there is benefit to summer enrichment, and we do too. Summer enrichment is great for students. It's a great opportunity for kids to connect with peers from around the country. Since we're online, we have students enrolling from all over the country, which is really exciting. Again, it's an opportunity for students to delve into various kinds of STEM and arts and humanities topics. The pace of the summer is different from our school year program, which is not to say good or bad, it's just different. And I think that's something just to note. All right, let's move along to our little bit more specific information about our classes. So the elementary programs that we're running this summer are for 4th and 5th graders only. We don't have any classes right now, unfortunately, for younger students. We have 2 classes that we're running, debate and a STEM class. And I will call out that the debate class in particular is a class that culminates in an online competition. So students should enroll in that class only if they're able to participate all the way into the last day, because that really is a big part of the class. Elementary program classes are typically capped at 20 students, and every class has a primary instructor and a teaching assistant, or in some cases there may be 2 instructors, but typically it's an instructor and a TA. Middle school classes. So we have, as you can see, we have a variety of STEM and arts and humanities kinds of classes. The classes in our middle school program, again, that same format, 9 a.m. to noon or 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Class sizes for our middle school program are 20 to 25 students, again, with a primary instructor and a teaching assistant, or in some cases, 2 instructors. As you maybe can guess, some of our classes do require some additional kinds of materials. And for those classes that have very specific kinds of materials, we will be shipping materials out to students ahead of the class. In some cases, our classes may require students to kind of gather up some things that would be easily found around home. But for anything where the materials are a little bit more sophisticated, we'll be shipping those out to students. I would encourage you, if any of these classes look appealing, that you go on to our website and check out, take a look at the classes. And if something's really of interest, I just would encourage you to enroll in the classes, because some of our classes have already gone to wait list. If there is a class that's already in wait list, that should not deter you from putting your child's name on the wait list, because it is still quite early in the registration season, and we do try to accommodate students off the wait list whenever we can. And then on to our high school classes. Again, high school classes, a mixture of STEM and arts and humanities kinds of classes. Similar to the middle school program, some of these classes will have materials that will be shipped to students ahead of the class. Most of our high school classes are open to students 9th through 12th grades. So the classes will be, students in the classes will be a mixture of grades. We do have, I believe, 1 class, Writing for College Readiness, which is for 10th through 12th graders. Class size for our high school program is typically 25 students, again, each with a primary instructor and a TA. You'll definitely want to take a look at the course detail pages on our website and review any kind of requirements that might need to be in place before the class gets underway. I will mention, for example, our Java classes require that students download and test software on their home computers before the class gets underway. Our photography class, for example, obviously students need to have a digital camera and they need to set up a Flickr account. Those are just a couple of examples of classes that have just a few things that students need to do ahead of the class starting so that they can jump right into the class and have a great experience. All right, on to our instructors and teaching assistants. So people typically like to know who our teachers are. We have instructors from we recruit instructors from a wide variety of sources. We have wonderful instructors who are classroom teachers during the school year, and then they come and teach in our program in the summer. And we have instructors in our program who are specialists. For example, we have architects who teach our architecture class, and we have software engineers who teach our coding classes. So it's really a wonderful mixture. We have teachers who've been with us for many years. We have a very high retention of instructors. So people that like to come back and teach with us every summer. So that's a really wonderful aspect of the program. And we really, even if it's a virtual, I feel really proud of the community that we created in the summer with our students and our teachers. Teaching assistants in our program are typically UW graduate students. On occasion, we do recruit really stellar high school students who bring some kind of special content expertise and some experience working with youth. Again, if you visit our website for course detail pages, we'll have bios on all of our instructors. And so I would encourage you to go and read about our wonderful instructors. And then we're almost through here, registration, waitlist, and refunds. So registration is open right now. We've been open since the beginning of the month. It's an open enrollment season. So as long as the class has space, it will remain open. About 2 weeks before the class starts, we'll close enrollment just so we can get the class ready to go and ship anything that we need to ship. Waitlist, again, I would encourage you, if you see a course that's of interest, but it's already gone to waitlist, add your child's name to the waitlist. The process is pretty straightforward. If a space becomes available, we'll let you know, and then you have to just respond back and that you want the space. In terms of refund deadlines, the program runs for 9 weeks, so we have sort of a rolling refund process. So you basically want to make a note of the refund deadline that corresponds with the start date of the course that you've enrolled your child in. We of course, it's only March. We understand that lots of things can happen in planning your summer between now and the summer. So if your plans for summer have changed and you have a conflict, just let us know. We'll do our best to work with you. So I think I've actually made it through my slides. So as I promised, I got through it in 15 minutes. That's pretty darn good. So Chad, are you able to kind of let me know if there are questions coming in or things that you
So we've got a handful of questions. I'm just going to kind of run through them from top to bottom to try and answer them all for you guys. Keep the questions coming if you have them. First question is clarifying the July 6th through the 16th timeframe versus July 5th, which is a Monday. Due to the 4th of July holiday being observed on July 5th, that is why there's no camp. That is a 9-day session for those that are attending during that 2-week span. And if you happen to see a course that is offered at another point during the session or during the summer that might say coding in Java 1A and coding in Java 1B, this is a bad example since it's not during that time frame. Writers Workshop A and B are the same exact course. One runs for 10 days, one runs for 9 days. That's why there's a price difference. Same exact course though. So no camp on July 5th, starting Tuesday, July 6th. Got a couple questions here on grades and what we interpret as what the grade they are for the courses. For our summer program, the grade we use is the grade that the student will be in the fall. So if your student is going to be a 7th grader in the fall, then they'll sign up for courses that say 6th, 7th, or 8th graders. For our school year program, the pilot program that we're running currently, it is the current grade. So if you sign up for something in the future with us in the fall, winter, or spring, it is what your student's current grade is for what they'd be eligible for. For the summer program, again, it is whatever grade they are going into for fall of the 21-22 school year. Got a question about the child going into high school can take middle or high school courses. Again, it's associated with the grade that they're going to be in the fall. Make sure you look on the website. It'll tell you what grade a course is or grade range, and you'll want to make sure you look at that before you go down the registration hole, only to find out that maybe your student's not eligible for a course. We have a couple class specific questions. I would highly recommend for those that are asking questions specifically due to a specific class to visit the course detail page on the website. You can look at the website. It's on the screen here, the www.summer-camp.uw.edu. You're going to click summer, and then you'll see a big grid with all the courses. Simply click on the course title that interests you, and that'll give you a very detailed description of the class and any requirements. One particular question asked about photography and what kind of camera. It is a point and click digital camera, so a phone camera would not work for that class, but those type of requirements would be all on there. We've got a couple questions here about any additional classes. Unfortunately, what you see on the website is what we're going to be offering for this summer. We don't have any options to go ahead and add any classes at this point. We are constantly looking at expanding our our offerings. So if you have ideas or suggestions, feel free to shoot us an email and we can kind of put it in the queue and look and see what we can find down the road. Unfortunately for this summer though, what you see on the website is what is available. We've got a couple questions specifically again about courses. I would encourage you to take a look at the website. If you don't get the answer or the information that you need from the website, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and we can see if we can get you any more details. Let's see, writing for college readiness. It's for students entering 10th through 12th grade in the fall. Scholarships. I got a couple questions here. We do offer a financial assistance each year for students that are eligible for free or reduced lunch. Unfortunately, we have exhausted our limited financial assistance for this year. I typically suggest parents reaching out to us in December, January for the upcoming summer to get on the email list to receive the application. Unfortunately, it goes fast. We try and get as many people as we can. But regarding scholarships for this summer, we are unfortunately exhausted.
I will mention in terms of financial assistance that this past year, we ran a pilot program to try out running evening classes, and we're going to continue to offer evening classes in the coming academic year. So obviously fall, winter, spring of 21, 22. And my hope and plan is to have financial aid available for students who may enroll in those classes coming up in the next academic year. Nothing's in place right now, but that is the plan. So I would encourage you to check back with us if you have an interest in maybe something that we might offer during the academic year.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Got a question regarding what the cost is per class. Unfortunately, there are kind of different prices per class. So you'd need to, again, go to the website to take a look and find the course that you are interested in to see exactly what that course cost is. They're not all the same across the board. Regarding the writing class, being reviewed by the instructor and receive feedback, absolutely. They work together in small groups as well as on their own, and they submit and they get feedback, both peer feedback as well as the instructor feedback. Is there anything else you want to chime in on that one, Leslie, regarding writing class and feedback?
No, I think that's right. I think it's a very collaborative process. Yeah.
Okay. Got a question here about more specific information on what will be taught. If you need more information than what is on the website, I would suggest just reaching out to us, shoot us an email, and we can get you whatever information that you need to help make the best decision for you and your students. We don't typically put the parents in touch with the instructors quite yet, just because many of our instructors are school year teachers or just that, you know, they've got a lot going on that they're not quite in the summer youth program window yet. And so we try and hedge anything we can before we send it off to them. But definitely contact us if you have any questions or you need more information on a class, and we'll absolutely work with you on that.
And I would say that on registration, if you do decide to register your student in one of our classes, what comes with registration is a more detailed syllabus of the class. So that may, and if that's something that you'd like to see ahead of the class, just let us know. We can make that happen.
We have a question regarding registering and when does it open? When did it open? Registration opened on March 8th of earlier this month, and so it is currently ongoing. You register through our website. There is a link at the top of the website. It says register now. That'll take you to our registration site. Unfortunately, some classes have filled up already and are currently in waitlist. However, if you see the option to join a waitlist, absolutely. It's still early on. We've got 5 months or 4 months before we're really into the heart of the summer. So things can happen and people drop, and there's no obligation for you. If you join the wait list and you get offered a spot, you can simply decline it. So definitely get in there. The website again should be on the screen, www.summer-camp.org. fall.uw.edu. That'll take you to the website, and then from there you can see a course list and register as well. Got a couple questions regarding any additional classes again, or different times. Again, unfortunately, everything that we are offering, both in subject matter as well as times, should be available already on the website. And just unfortunately, we can't offer anything additional to what is currently there. Mark, regarding your question about camera, why don't you go ahead and reach out to us offline, and we can get some clarification to you regarding the digital aspects and the requirements. We've got a question about how to check back in regarding financial aid. You guys, by joining this webinar, you should already be on our lead list to receive information to get updates when the website's updated in the future and registration begins. So when registration, when the website is updated in late summer, you should be able to get notification, and then that's when, if fall financial aid is available, that's when we would be talking about that. So you can check back with us at any point. If we have the information, we'll send it to you, or if we have a better idea of when exactly it might become available, we can give that to you too. So I would say maybe July, reach out to us regarding financial assistance for the fall and possibly winter at that point. As Leslie mentioned, it's something that we're looking into and hope to be able to offer. Question regarding grades again, it's if your student is entering 9th grade in the fall, then that is going to be the courses that you are going to be eligible for. So anything that says 9th grade on the course list. Basically, with the exception of writing for college readiness, anybody that's going into 9th grade should be eligible for any other high school course. Writing for college readiness is for students entering 10th through 12th grade. Let's see here. We've got a question about online programs for the 21-22 academic year for upcoming high schoolers. We are looking into what exactly we're going to be able to offer in the fall and winter and spring. That is not been decided yet. Typically, I know this is a summer conversation, but to give you a quick highlight, the school year program is a 10-year or a 10-week program that meets generally twice a week in the evenings for about an hour and a half. And that's the kind of plan around the school year. Like I said, we don't have the school year courses set up quite yet. We hope to have the fall set by June, July timeframe, if not earlier, regarding what's available in the fall.
And I would just, if you haven't already, you could take a look at our fall, winter, spring courses that ran this past year, that are, and our spring courses are running right now. Likely the courses that we run next school year will be a mixture of some of those courses, and then probably some additional new and different courses, but that'll give you an idea kind of what it might look like.
Looks like we just have a couple more questions here. One question that I know I get asked a lot and I just want to cover is regarding credit, either high school or college credit for our programs. It is an academic enrichment program, and so there is no credit given for either high school or college courses. But it also does not go on a transcript either, if you're worried about not being able to finish class or whatever. Leslie, I've got one I'm going to pass on to you here. What about monitoring chats for inappropriate content? How is it managed during class time?
So we have a code of conduct that we ask students to sign off on. Our staff go through online training as well. We train our staff on best practice in terms of remote teaching. Our Zoom platform is set up so that we have a protocol that prevents Zoom bombing. So we only allow students that are on the roster to enter the classroom. Once they're in the classroom, I believe the instructors typically set up the classroom initially where there is no private chat allowed. Sometimes I think depending on the class, they've found that it's been okay to allow that, but typically I think that's the recommendation that we make to teachers, is that they don't allow private chat in the Zoom classrooms. So far,
And
we haven't had any major issues, but of course, we're watching that all the time.
So we have a couple more questions here. It says, when you register for a class, do they tell you what you will need for that class? Yes, when you register, you'll get a detailed syllabus that will give you everything that you need at the time of registration. Sometimes it might say you'll need some general art supplies, and then that could be as simple as glue, scissors, markers, stuff like that. But if it doesn't give you a specific list, you will receive it prior to the start of the class by a week or two, if not more, if it's something that we know that can be hard to get. But if it's that hard to get, we would generally provide it for you guys and mail it to you. I have a question for an individual whose student is currently attending one of our school year programs, wondering if summer program will be similar content or different. Typically, like the Sharpen Your Writing program that's going on this spring, it is going to be very similar to what is going to happen during the summer, with the difference being, 2 weeks half-day course versus the entire 10 weeks. Sometimes if we have different instructors, there might be a slight twist to the content, but for the most part, it's the same course. So if you registered for a course, the syllabus should be attached as a confirmation to the confirmation email that you receive. If you do get your confirmation email and there is no attachment on there, please go ahead and respond to the email, the confirmation email that you received, and we can make sure it gets out to you. But it should be attached there. Sometimes it's hard to find. So those are the questions. If anyone else has any other questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the question box, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, thanks so much for taking time to join us today, and we hope to see you this summer. And
again, it looks like I got another person. If you never received a confirmation email, go ahead and email us with your student's name for spring and the course or for summer, whatever program that you've signed up for, and let us know exactly what you registered for, and we'll make sure you have it. You should receive a confirmation email the day that you registered.
All right.
So this is different than the Robinson Center. We are a completely different program. So if you have any Robinson Center specific questions, you'd have to contact them, unfortunately. But yes, it can be confusing with the name sometimes. I get questions regarding volleyball camp as well. So it's just the Summer Youth Programs is the name of the core program. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well,
if we're ready to wrap.
Priya, if you want to go ahead and email us at sypinfo@uw.edu, we can get into a little bit more information for you regarding the differences between Robinson Center and UW Youth Programs. And I think that is it. So thank you guys all for coming, and have a great day, and hope to see a lot of your students virtually this summer.
Thanks a lot. Take care.